So our standard kind of go-to posture is the sort of arms out, very open, arms out to the side, palms up. And that's the one we sort of, our neutral posture, if you like, that we go back to. And reaching up to the sky, sort of arms open, sort of energy kind of focused upwards. So like it's another very open gesture where you're kind of pulling in that energy of all that space above us, kind of down into the street. Another powerful posture is kind of reaching forwards with the palms open, so that kind of connecting gesture of the sort of open hands facing forwards. You're kind of giving out energy with that gesture. The victory gesture is the sort of raised fist, which is obviously synonymous with protest and revolution kind of worldwide, and a very sort of symbol of solidarity. So we'd use that posture a lot when you're going past people being arrested or in those kind of situations. It's a kind of solidarity gesture. Similarly, you can do the open arms, but like held up higher, a sort of crucifix-like pose, I guess. Again, a very sort of open and vulnerable kind of pose. And now we'll take a look at some of those in action, sort of in movement. Yeah, so you can't always predict what's going to be happening wherever you're going, and what plans you've made may change. So when you're leading a brigade, it's kind of on you to sort of improvise and to take the inspiration from the surroundings. And the pace means that you've got time to consider that and judge that and play with your environment and kind of make those decisions off the cuff. And the procession postures, you know, everyone behind is following that lead with all those gestures, so you feel very supported in the fact that you know you've got this big group behind you. And the trickiest moment is really when you come from a procession into a tableau picture, a tableau being like a frieze or where you make like a statue kind of pose somewhere. And that can be where you drop the kind of magic of the whole situation, because everyone's kind of a little bit confused, doesn't know what they're going to do. So we work a little bit on that. You know, that's a focal point, is that to get into that initial position. So your lead you'll find that position to start the shape of that, and then everyone can kind of file in behind it. But you don't want to drop character, because you've got to do something practical, and you should remember that you've got plenty of time. And there's no real rush to do that as well, and to keep all your gestures and movements in the same flowing kind of speed that the rest of it's been in. And then you can all just kind of float in and like fill the gaps with each other, and it's good to make tight formations, but also not to just be standing in a line. You know, and if you're looking at the back of someone's headdress, and that means no one can see you, so sort of fill those gaps and make those shapes. And again, part of what you're warming up and tuning in with is to make you aware of the picture you're making for the people that are looking at it from the outside. So don't feel restricted or controlled or worry about getting it wrong or not doing it right. Really, there are no hard and fast rules, and commitment, committing to what you're doing and being open and calm and complicit with your troop means you can't really get it wrong. And sometimes when you come out of one space and into a different street, and maybe you've got the whole street, so then you can kind of fan out into a different formation. So that's like a V formation. So processions, we usually do like single file, double file, or you can do a V, and with that lead character always to sort of guide the gestures. And the V formation is slightly more complicated. You can just stop and get into a V, but you can also do it on the move. So you just split those two lines between that lead, and you kind of, the idea is to be like, to put your hand out and touch the outside shoulder of the person in front. That's the perfect distance. And if you do that sequentially, then everybody is kind of one step out, so you can see past the person in front of you, and you create this beautiful kind of V formation, which is also a very powerful and sort of unstoppable kind of formation in a way. We also work a lot with the veils, but it's all about where the veil's positioned and like practicing that, just sort of having it on the top of the headdress so you can pull it down. But we would often kind of start out with the veil down and then get to a position to make the tableau and then reveal the face. Again, just taking your time and wait until you can feel it. That pace, then everything stays in sync because you're not rushing, so no one has to rush to keep up. You just got to take it really slowly and everyone's got time to follow. And if you can't, if you can't quite get hold of it, don't start flapping. Just kind of stay calm and stay with the grace and the beauty of the moment and the pictures that you're making. You're kind of making a work of art every sort of moment.